Racing on Tuesday takes place out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth 9-race program. We are racing on the summer course Tuesday the 30th of April 2024. Race number 1 is set to get underway at 12:05. The bypart will commence with the running of race 2, place accumulator in race 3 and the pick 6 in race number 4. Joining me is Graham Hawkins, and this time he's not on the line, he's in studio with us. And Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Rahil. Looking forward to this card. The winter rains, no sign of the winter rains, so the forecast is good. The track will be quick on top. I'm sure there are a few horses in this this card and waiting in the wings for the rains to come and for their form to turn around. But for the moment, track condition is good.
Certainly looking forward to the action on Tuesday, and it all starts in race number 1 over 1,200 meters. It's a maiden juvenile plate for fillies that will get the day started, and your favorite is number 6, Artiste, from the Brett Crawford yard. Gareth Wright takes a ride. 2-year-old daughter of Canford Cliffs, priced up at 9 to 10, has found support already from 14 to 10 into 9 to 10. It's back at the George at 6 to 1, along with Sweet Summer Love 8 to 1, about from a distance, and then it's 12 to 1 and Better Ball. Those now. For punters that don't know, Gareth Wright has been contracted to Ridgemount Island, so he'll ride all of their horses going forward. And he gets aboard this 2-year-old daughter of Canford Cliffs, who put up a very nice run on debut behind Tanneron, who was a warm water favourite that day.
Yes, I think Tanneron is quite decent, and Artiste, of course, apart from being by Canford Cliffs, is out of the July Winner Dancer's daughter, so may well have scope to go further, but right now this 1,200 meters should be right up her alley. I think punters need to get in the first 2 races. We've got the usual fare of handicaps coming later on. I think the first 2 races on the card should go the way of the favourites. Not big prices, but a nice double perhaps. So number 6, Artiste, definitely the one to beat. Second on debut, running on nicely behind Tanneron, should progress from that. Sweet Summer Love, the stable companion, of course, as you've mentioned, Gareth Wright rides for Ridgemont. So Louis Mkotwa has to ride number 5, Sweet Summer Love. But in the market, nice pedigree. Back at the George will improve. My only weakness, I know that Adam likes this filly. Richard Fareed's a significant booking. Got things all wrong on debut, so will improve on that and could well get into the trifectas and quartets. So don't ignore number 8, my only weakness as far as trifectas and quartets are concerned. And then an interesting newcomer. The comments are not that positive, but number 3, Alicia Asheville. She's a half-sister to Main Defender. So interesting to see her make her debut, number 3, Alicia Asheville. But confident first choice has got to be number 6, Artiste.
Yeah, horse number 6, Artiste, definitely sets a standard on her debut performance, and looks like the one that they all need to beat in race 1. Moving along to race number 2, this will be the start of the bypart, 1,200 meters the trip. 12:40 is the off time for race 2. 8 on 18 is the favorite, 13 to 10 into 11 to 10. Surge of Power is trading at 7 to 2. The US of A, 6 to 1 into 5 to 1, and then it's 12 to 1. And Better Ball those. Now, number 4, 8 on 18, I thought his debut performance was excellent. He moved up, and I thought he was actually going to go past the winner there, Rama Fokesa, but probably inexperience caught him out. And he seems to be quite a nice son of Lancaster Bomber, and I'm looking forward to seeing his run on Tuesday, because I think he could be quite a nice sort in the making, Graham.
Absolutely, and Lancaster Bomber, we know we're going to miss him. He only covered the 2 crops before his ill-timed demise. So we're going to miss Lancaster Bomber. He's getting good winners around the country, both his 3-year-olds and, of course, his new crop, his current crop of 2-year-olds. On the basis of that first run, should have the beating again of number 3, Surge of Power. This is an open maiden plate, so it's the 2-year-olds against the older horses, but I think the 2-year-olds will dominate. Number 4, 8 on 18, a confident first choice. I'm making him a banker in the opening leg of the bypot. 3, Surge of Power may get closer. They both should improve with the benefit of that run. Then there are a couple of others. Stable companion to 8 on 18 is number 11, Late December, very well named by Rafif out of 63. So Late December ran 3rd on debut, but I suspect that that was a bit of a weaker race. I'm not sure how strong that race was. That was won by Otaniqua. Time will tell. Then, of course, with number 10, the US of A, what you see is what you get. He's had a few chances. Admittedly, he's only had the 5 runs under the belt. He's been placed in 3 of those 5 runs and should get into the mix, but whether he'll match strides with the 2-year-olds who may be of higher quality, that remains to be seen. The one that can improve, No was a distant 16th behind Little Ballerina, number 7, Captain FJ. Hasn't been seen since that run on the 27th of January, but we know that that is the strongest juvenile form line in the country so far. So I don't think it takes a lot of improving to get into the top 4 in this contest. So number 7, Captain FJ, you should include in your trifectas and quartets. What's Up is also got there a bit of a chance on form, but confident first choice and banker suggestion for the opening leg of the bipod, number 4, 8 on 18.
All in with horse number 4, 8 on 18 in race number 2. Moving along to race number 3, which will be the start of the place accumulator. This is an open maiden over 1,400 meters. 1:15 is the off time. Favorite Charlotte Bronte and Tsunami Warning both at 33 to 10. Tom's Diner is at 4 to 1, along with number 6 Congressman. Golden Grey 16 to 1 into 8 to 1. So there's been some shrewd outside support for this 3-year-old son of the non-platina. 8 to 1 about Devil a Saint, and then it's 16 to 1 and better bar those. Now, Charlotte Bronte, obviously well-bred daughter of Lancaster Bomber, and last time out she was third behind Ice Rain. She showed good improvement, draw 4, but she does take on the boys, which is a slight concern for me, and she's got to carry level weights with this, similar weights with number 11 Tsunami Warning, who I thought would actually win last time out, but he found a few too good, and Craig Zaki gets a ride for Dean Canmere. So for me, I think he's going to run a huge race, but obviously Charlotte Bronte could just be the horse to beat with that draw.
Yeah, firstly, this is an open maiden over 1,400 meters. We know how tricky those races can be. First leg of the place accumulator. I think it's quite a complex race. I think there are many with chances, and a surprise result is not out of the question. But you started with Charlotte Bronte. I think the penny's starting to drop. She's the half-sister to Charles Dickens. She had 2 runs up the lane. The last time was the first around the turn, and she ran within a length of Ice Rain. I would have liked to have seen her perhaps go just another 200 meters further, but another run over 1,400 meters won't do any harm. She's got a nice draw. She's heading in the right direction. And I think it's fair to say that Charlotte Bronte's got as big a chance as anything. I don't think she's a puntable favourite, but clearly I've thrown her into the second leg of the bipod. I've thrown in 3 horses here, 4 Charlotte Bronte, 5 Tom's Diner, and 11 Tsunami Warning. Tsunami Warning has definitely improved in his last 2 starts, got a wide draw to overcome, but how strong those form lines are is really open to question. The second behind 4 Jacks, that was a shallow race. The 4th behind Baton Rouge, that was a shallow race, but certainly heading in the right direction is Tsunami Warning, just got that draw to overcome. Devil a Saint is having his 11th start in the maidens, ran a good 3rd last time out, but can't be relied on to repeat that performance. I guess the one with the most scope for improvement could be number 6, Congressman. Richard Faree rides for Andre Nell. Only had the 2 starts. Neither was too bad. Again, they weren't the highest quality open maidens. Made its debut in an open maiden, 2nd run in an open maiden, 3rd run in an open maiden, suggesting that perhaps Andre Nell feels that there are limitations around the son of Kirari, number 6 Congressman, but would I be surprised to see him win? No. And then you mentioned the betting support for number 2 Golden Grey, coming in at 56 kilograms. Golden Grey should start improving. He showed a bit of promise early in his career when placed behind multiple winners, Mer Capitano and Le Legionnaire. Both of them are now multiple winners, but Golden Grey didn't go forward from those 2 runs, struggling to find form, but does have drawn a slightly lower weight in his favour. But Charlotte Bronte, yes, she's the filly against the boys, but she's got the pedigree on her side. She's unexposed. She's heading in the right direction. Would be my marginal first choice, but I'm going to include all of numbers 4, 11 and 5 in this leg of the bipod.
A few horses to play around in race number 3, and it's certainly a race where it wouldn't surprise if you were to get a bit of a result in the exotics. Moving along to race number 4, which will be the start of the pick 6, 1,400 meters the distance. 13:50 is the off time. Tyrion Lannister, your favorite at 22 to 10, 7 to 2 about number 1 Aspect, a bang in form Aspect. It's 5 to 1 about Fibonacci, 5 to 1 Hat's Pride, and then it's 10 to 1 and better bar those. Now we've got 2 horses that are thriving at the moment in the form of Aspect and Tyrion Lannister. And this horse, Tyrion Lannister, has gone up 4 points for his last victory. Solomon Seal moved up like a winner. I thought we've got the cash. But this horse just fought on, and he just didn't want to get beat, Tyrion Lannister. And then number 1 Aspect, last time out I thought he had quite a bit against him. Oliver, I thought, could just turn the form around, but he just seems to be a horse that maybe a bit down on confidence, Oliver, but take nothing away from Aspect because he certainly turned the corner and he's in the form of his career. Is it just these two horses to fight it out, or can you see something else getting involved?
Well, I think this is a tough race. In fact, Aspect doesn't form part of my first 4 selections, so I've played against Aspect, but that being said, I wouldn't be surprised to see him reel off the 4th time. I just think he's stepping up a little bit in class here. He beat Goda Alone, Master of Paris, Oliver. I think he's got something somewhat more to do, although he's got a handy galloping weight of 54 and the inside gate. So he has a chance in what is a very competitive Class 3 1400-meter race. So obviously, as far as jackpots and pick sixes are concerned, you have to throw in number 1 Aspect. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to number 8, Tyrion Lannister. I say benefit of the doubt because, you know, he's obviously going up in the ratings. This time he's got a slightly awkward draw, 8 out of 9. But I think in beating Fibonacci and Solomon Seal, we'll come back to Fibonacci in a moment. I think he's taken on a little stronger than Aspect. Yes, he's got to give Aspect 2 kilos, but I think Tyrion Lannister is very much on an upward curve. And I think Pitt Boerter, his trainer, said exactly that after his last. You know, if you go back to the run before he won his last 2, that was against It's Raining William. That was in a very, very strong race. So Tyrion Lannister certainly heading in the right direction, but it's getting tougher. It's a handicap. He's going up the ratings. Now, if you look at the penultimate start of Tyrion Lannister, and for that matter, Fibonacci. Fibonacci is 5.5 kilos better off for 3/4 of a length beating. So purely on that run at the weights number 2, Fibonacci's got to finish ahead of him. But then they're met again, and Tyrion Lannister beat him more comfortably, but that was over 1,600 meters. Hat's Pride, I'd like to see him drop further in the ratings. He's run against some of the best, Snow Pilot, Green with Envy, etc. But with 60 kilograms on his back, it's not going to be easy. Obviously, JP van der Merwe gets off Tyrion Lannister because he's contracted to ride for Greg Board, so he's got to ride Magic versus Grant Vineca. Gets his first opportunity aboard Tyrion Lannister. And the one that's dropping down the ratings and I think may get involved is number 3, Cheeky Laddie. But that's only for the back end of trifectas and quartets. Aspect does have a chance. I think it's quite tricky. I'm going to go with number 8, Tyrion Lannister, to complete his hat-trick ahead of number 2, Fibonacci. I'm expecting Fibonacci to put that last run behind him. He's probably better over 1,400 meters, will be competitive. Then all of Aspect, Cheeky Laddie, Magic Verse, Hat's Pride, they've all got chances, which I think is an open race. I definitely don't make it a two-horse race between Aspect and Tyrion Lannister, but Tyrion Lannister gets my vote.
Tyrion Lannister, 22 to 10 in the market, your current favorite, but it's certainly far from easy as just a one-horse race number 4. Race number 5, a class 4 for fillies and mares over 1,600 meters, 2:25 is the off time. It is the start of Jackpot 1, and your favorite is horse number 6 and 9, both at 33 to 10. That's Enchanting Choice. Among the Clouds, Hampstead Heath is at 7 to 2, along with Philosophize, and then it's 8 to 1. And better bar those. Now, Hampstead Heath was well fancied last time out to win straight out the maidens, but Enchanting Choice, different tactics with her last time out. She went forward, and she was never in doubt of victory that day. She won well, beating Philosophize. She's gone up 3 points, and with that win under the belt, I wouldn't be surprised to see her confirm the form with Philosophize and Hampstead Heath once again.
I'm taking a bit of a chance in this leg of the bipod. I'm going to bank a number 6, Enchanting Choice, as you'll see when we get to the suggested bet a little later on. I'm hoping they adopt the same tactics. I saw Dean Cannemeyer at Hollywoodbets Scottsville on Sunday. I said, I hope you're going to use the same tactics on Enchanting Choice. He said, wow, that was by accident. It's not my style to go to the front. I said, well, you've got to go to the front. I'm expecting a repeat result pretty much. Enchanting Choice, I thought she won rather cozily. So I think the fact that she's only gone up £3, I think the handicappers treated her quite leniently. They don't often treat horses leniently, but I thought she won a bit cozily, and she's only gone up £3. So for me, she'll again have the beating of Philosophize and Hampstead Heath. But we know that races are not run on paper, and things can turn around. The only other 2 runners I give a chance to, number 9, Among the Clouds. I thought that was a very creditable second behind Call Me Jetrix last time out. Can improve further, and I like the way that F8 was also running on in that same race behind Call Me Jetrix. But the fact that F8 and Among the Clouds have got form to fly to Rio and Call Me Jetrix, perhaps the other form line is a bit stronger. So hence I'm going with number 6, Enchanting Choice, with a fair degree of confidence. But I'm really hoping that the race is run to suit her. Obviously, if something hairs off to the front, you would not expect her to try and make all the running. But if it's a fairly sedate early gallop, and the tactics succeeded last time, then why change winning tactics? So if they don't go too hard early, I'm hoping to see number 6, Enchanting Choice, in front, because I think she won it readily. She enjoyed being out in front. To quote Craig Zaki after she had her ears pricked for most of the way, she really loved it. And on that performance, I think she'll hold Philosophize and Hampstead Heath. And the other two to consider are F8 and Among the Clouds from a different form line.
Horse number 6, Enchanting Choice, quite a confident top selection in race number 5 for Graham, and perhaps at 33 to 10 could certainly be worth a bet on the head. Moving along to race number 6, this is a Cape Sea Stakes over 2,200 meters. Marshall Field 5 to 2, Ignatius at 28 to 10. It's 6 to 1 about Heliotrope, 7 to 1 Ozark, and then it's 8 to 1 and Better Bar Those. Now this horse Ignatius, Graham, I think now he's finally going over the right trip. Despite the weight of 61.5 kgs, draw 1 I think is an advantage. He's down in class on his last start when running third to Green Mandarin, who was a surprise winner. He was just runner of it late on, but I think the progress that he has shown in his recent starts suggests that he could be ready to win another race, and he's going to be the top selection for me, and a horse that I play a few bets around on the day with.
I think it's a tough race, and yes, I've gone with numbers 1 and 2 as my top 2 choices, Ignatius and Marshall Field, but you have to make a selection, and so I've gone 4 horses in the bipod, numbers 1, 2, 5 and 6. I'm expecting a better run from Ozark. Richard Farid rides for the first time, the 3-year-old son of Oratorio, but I do think the outcome probably rests between numbers 1 Ignatius and number 2 Marshall Field. They seem to bring the best form into the race. They reasonably consistent when they find their feet. In fact, Marshall Field is very consistent. Ignatius seems to be coming back to his best form. Heliotrope won its maiden last time out, is the best weighted in the race, but beat English Mistress by half length. That didn't do anything for the form in her subsequent start, but Heliotrope is going in the right direction. Twice the master, best form can surprise. Same comment applies to number 9 Lord Firefield. But this is going to be an interesting race as to how you structure your perms. If you want to go light in this race, then I'm tending to agree with Rahil that perhaps you go with numbers 1 and 2 in your jackpot and pick sixes, depending on how you play the other legs, because there's some tough handicaps included on the card, especially later on in the day. So this is the kind of race that's not a true handicap where you might want to try and get away with things. The next 2 runners would be 5 Heliotrope and 6 Ozark, but perhaps we can get away with numbers 1 and 2 as far as those larger exotics are concerned. But to play it safe in this leg of the bipod, I have gone 1, 2, 5 and 6. But Ignatius, Marshall Field, they seem to have the best credentials.
If you are looking for a bit of a result and you're looking to beat numbers 1 and 2, well, then you've got some cover there with numbers 5 and 6. 6 to 1, 7 to 1, the current price about those 2 runners, as opposed to the 5 to 2 and 28 to 10 about the market leaders. Moving along to race number 7. This is a class 4 over 1,400 meters. 15:35 is the off time. Your favorite is horse number 7, Radicchio. Richard Furry back in the yarn for Pete Porter. 3 to 1, 9 to 2 about War Chariot, 5 to 1 about Slurry Kane, Steadfast 11 to 2. 7 to 1 about Dancing to the Light, Sooty, and then it's 10 to 1 and Better Bar Those. Now, Radicchio, he's certainly turned his form around ever since going down to the Western Cape. He's won his last 2 starts, and he's gone up 3 points for his latest victory when beating Oliver, who, as I mentioned, it could just be a confidence thing with Oliver, but take nothing away from Radicchio. He's unbeaten over track and trip, and Richard Free is back in the irons aboard this son of Flower Alley. So he's definitely going to be a lively contender, but you've got this horse War Chariot who ran behind Tyrion Lannister, giving him 2.5 kgs, and at this point in time, I tend to believe that Tyrion Lannister is a slightly better horse than Radicchio, and I'm sure that Pete Porter will have a fairly good line between those 2 horses, obviously hailing from his yard. And this horse took on a lot stronger last time out, average rating of a 91. Down in class, average rating of a 78, and at around 9 to 2, there could be a bit of value about the son of Pomodoro, who is fairly highly regarded by the yard.
I think War Chariot is definitely very much alive. Pete Porter's got 2 key runners on the day in the form of Tyrion Lannister and Radicchio. Radicchio didn't look the sort who was going to go on and win 3 in a row. He hasn't done that yet. He's won his last 2, trying to get the hat-trick reeled off here. If you go back in the form lines, I know it's over a slightly different distance, over 1,200 meters on the 12th of February. Radicchio was beaten by War Chariot. Clearly, he's found his form since. So, yes, I agree with you. Not too much to choose between number 4, War Chariot, and 7, Radicchio. Both have got to go into the play. Only adding one other horse in the final leg of the bipod, and that's number 1, Steadfast, who's rapidly coming down the ratings. Now, he beat Coastal Commander when winning his maiden. I mean, we've seen what Coastal Commander's gone on to do. So it's amazing how sometimes the form turns around. You get a horse like Steadfast beating Coastal Commander. Coastal Commander's in the top division, and Steadfast trying to win his second career race. But he's dropping down the ratings. He was under 3 lengths behind Radicchio last time. He's got pole position. I'm expecting Steadfast to run a big race in this type of contest. So 4, 7 and 1 for me in the bipod. Nothing to choose between War Chariot and Radicchio. I would be surprised if the winner came from outside of those 3, although Slurricane number 9 and number 10 Suited do deserve mentions in terms of trifectas and quartets, and Dancing to the Light can improve. You know, we can't keep naming names. You've got to try and narrow the lively runners down, and I think 1, 4 and 7 might just get you through the jackpot and the pick 6. We've got to try and narrow these low-grade handicaps down. You can't throw them all in every leg. So we've got to take our chances and back our opinions. And for me, it's 1, 4 and 7 in this leg.
Those are 3 horses to play around, and it's quite an interesting form race because you've got form behind Tyrion Lannister, you've got form behind Aspect, and both those horses meet early on the card. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets the better of who in the earlier race, and then that could perhaps enhance the form for one of these horses that take their place in race number 7. Moving along to race number 8, penultimate race on the program, 1100 meters the distance. It's a class 4, 10 past 4 is the off time, and your favorite is number 11, Speed Racer from the Brett Crawford yard. He's at 7 to 2. It's 4 to 1 about Mighty Mac. Explosive Speed is at 5 to 1, 8 to 1 about Go It Alone, the Tinker Man, and then it's 8 to 1 Dragonfly, 10 to 1 and Better Ball. Those now, last time out I thought Dragonfly would run a nice race at around each way odds, and he did do just that, and Anthony Andrews sticks to the ride. 1100 meters, slight drop in trip, but I think with that run under the belt, if he's in the same space, I think he could run another bomb race at around 8 to 1. So he's going to be the each way play for me once again.
Very competitive race, many with winning claims. Dragonfly, 3rd to Marvel Williams. Speed Racer was just ahead of him on that occasion, so purely on the evidence of the last run, nothing to choose between 8 Dragonfly and 11 Speed Racer. Speed Racer would be my top choice in view of his consistency. I think you're going to get a bold run from Speed Racer. His 3 runs since being gelded have been good, but Dragonfly clearly on the short list. Mighty Mac was a good win over Hammy's Hero last time out, and can go in again. Richard's only ridden him once before, and that was last time out when winning, so he gets a really good tune out of Mighty Mac, but then Richard Free gets a good tune out of all of his rides. Explosive Speed, I know he took a long time to win a maiden, but Connery has at least franked the form. Nothing much to choose on the previous run between Explosive Speed and Karpser Klopser. The Tinkerman, he could win or he could run unplaced. That's the kind of horse he is. And then there are a few in this race. Earlier I mentioned the going and horses waiting for rain. Well, horses that fit that bill are Bluff on Bluff and Benjamin. So I'm not saying they're going to be competitive here, but they've run well enough in recent outings to suggest they could surprise. But just an early warning to our friends out there watching our race goers and our fans that when the winter rains come in Cape Town, then a lot of horses actually revel in that condition. So for the moment, the going is still on top. I'm in the camp of number 11, Speed Racer, ahead of Dragonfly, Mighty Mac, and also the Tinkerman, Explosive Speed. But I think this is the most difficult race in the card because I'm not sure that you can rely on the form. I think Speed Racer sets the standard, and if all goes well, could beat home Mighty Mac and Dragonfly, but it's not an easy race.
It's certainly a race where you could get a decent result in those exotics, and if you play to beat the fancied horses, well, you'll be open that those horses can arrive and get the job done for you in race 8. Race 8 could be quite a nice quartet race as well to get involved in. Race number 9, the final race on the day, a class 4 for fillies and mares over 1200 meters. Number 9, Great Cat is the favorite at 33 to 10. Number 5, Girl Like Us is at 4 to 1. 6 to 1 about Ticket to Vegas. Kamikaze at 6 to 1. Mia's Harper at 7 to 1. And then it's 10 to 1 and Better Ball. Those now grand final race on the day, final leg of that place accumulator pick 6. How can the guys structure the bets in race 9?
I'm going with just 3 runners. But before I get to the 3 runners, we were talking about the rain coming. Now, 11, Mia's Harper. This one has disappointed over and over and over again. We all thought she was better than she is. But if you remember, she won a maiden in the absolute. The ground was bottomless. So when the rains do come, make a mental note. I'm not saying she won't be... she won't make her presence felt in this race, but the way she's been running, it looks like she's finding the going a little quick for her. So we're waiting for the rains, and then we'll be on Miss Mia's Harper. But for this race, 5, 6, and 9, I'm looking for a form result. I think the key form line to the race is the 23rd of March, when Great Cat ran 3rd behind Naughty Quest, and Girl Like Us ran 2nd. I'm making Great Cat my first selection ahead of Girl Like Us, despite the fact that they finished the other way around there, only because I think Girl Like Us has got a few issues. She's been sparingly raced. She races, then she doesn't. She's clearly got talent. In fact, Paul Reeves told me she's got a lot of talent, but she's clearly got some of the issues, whereas I think Great Cat, I think, can be more consistently relied upon. So if you're looking for a place accumulator banker in the last leg, then I would go with number 9, Great Cat. But certainly from the final leg of Jackpot 2, the final leg of the Pick 6 is concerned, you've got to include 5, Girl Like Us, along with Great Cat. Great Cat looked all over a winner last time out before being collared late by First Masterpiece. I'm going to include number 6, Ticket to Vegas, only because of the booking of Richard Fourie. He doesn't often ride for Ricky Maingard. He's only had 2 rides previously for Ricky Maingard for 1 win. Now, Ticket to Vegas, the form doesn't jump out at you, except for that penultimate run when beaten a length by Pineapple Mint Green, and that's come out to win again. So I'm not going to get to the last leg and still be running and leaving that man Richard Fourie out. So 5 and 9 are the top 2 choices for me, but I'm backing them up with number 6, Ticket to Vegas. And just in case Mia's Harper does find her best form on the quicker ground, although I'm expecting her to be more effective when the rains come, you might want to throw her in, but I'm going to take my chances and leave her out. For the moment, I've had enough of Mia's Harper.
I think this horse Double Dream, she's a horse that I've been keeping an eye on, and she's dropping in the ratings quite nicely now on a mark of 70. I think she could pop up. On a last start, she's held by Great Cat, but I think she could get closer. She's a kg.5 bet off for 2 length, for 1.5 length beaten. So I think at around 16 to 1, she could certainly be a nice inclusion into exactas, trifectas, and quartets.
Yeah, look, if you're going wider, then obviously Double Dream and even number 1, Royal Lytham, if you're playing the race wide, and certainly from a trifecta and a quartet perspective, Royal Lytham's got a nice low weight, 53 kilograms on her back. She's done enough to suggest she could be competitive. Kamikaze can be competitive. But for the win position, for the jackpots and the pick 6s, I'm narrowing my selections to 5, 6, and 9. But yes, a horse like Double Dream can certainly come up and surprise us.
3 horses to play around and include in race number 9. Moving along to the suggested bet now, and Graham will take us through his suggested bet for racing on Tuesday out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. 9-race program with race number 1 set to get underway at 12 over 1,200 meters. So Graham, take it away.
Thank you, Rahil. The bipod starts with race 2. Those windows close at 12:40. Banker number 4, 8 on 18 in the first leg. In fact, you want to take the opening double, I think. Artiste into 8 on 18 and get some money in the bank early in this race meeting. The second leg, numbers 4, 5, and 11. That's Charlotte Bronte, Tom's Dine, and Tsunami Warning. Then numbers 2, 3, 6, and 8. Fibonacci, Cheeky Laddie, Hat's Pride, and my top choice, Tyrion Lannister. I am taking a bit of a liberty by bankering Enchanting Choice in the 4th leg. I'm hoping they ride her with similar tactics to last time. I thought she won rather cozily. The penultimate leg, 1, 2, 5, and 6, both Rahil and I agreed that the winner should come from one of Ignatius and Marshall Field, but backing up with numbers 5, Heliotrope, and 6, Ozark, and then 1, 4, and 7, Steadfast, War Chariot, and Radicchio in the final leg.
That is Graham's bipod, which will commence with the running off race number 2. Graham, thanks very much for your time and obviously your thoughts on the card. Looking forward to racing on Tuesday. It does look to be a competitive day's racing as we get through the card, but as you mentioned, the first 2 races seem to be where the punters can get involved in with the first 2 favourites.
Yeah, we had a really good day during the week last week at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. This is not an easy card necessarily to read, although with the benefit of hindsight you might look back and say, well, those were all the obvious horses, so let's hope they run as they should.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the race meeting on Tuesday. All the best, and hopefully it treats you well.